I think it's time that we stopped with the people pleasing and actually just stood up for ourselves and spoke our mind freely. I think we've all been there and done that, so no judgment whatsoever. When I was younger, I was an idiot who had no boundaries. And you know what? I didn't really know any better at this point. So, you know what? It's fine. I forgive that past version of myself. But because of that version of myself, this is who I am right now. So, you know what? I'm not mad. People pleasing is such a common thing, is because, you know what? We subconsciously seek external validation that is coming from either people around us, our parents, our family, our spouse, our colleagues. It could be literally anybody. And we literally mold and shape our character and our personality according to what fits in perfectly with what they think we are. Like, we're literally molding ourselves to fit into their perspective and perception of us, which is the craziest thing ever, is because we're such massive people pleasers. We can't stand people being mad at us. We absolutely hate that, and that is because, again, we need their validation. So if they're mad at us, they won't validate us, and you know what? That's not the right thing to do. But that's when you know that you're just a massive people pleaser and you're lacking serious boundaries, and you actually don't know what you want, or you probably do not know any better. Now, just to put things into perspective, these are some signs that you might be a people pleaser, which is completely fine, by the way. However, these are some signs that will help you recognize if you are a people pleaser or not. Okay, so the first sign is you have a very hard time saying no, which is completely fine. You don't have to say no to everything in life, but especially when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling overworked, when you're feeling fatigued and tired, and you know what, you do not have the emotional or the mental energy to do favors for other people or to do something for somebody else because you yourself are so exhausted. But no matter that situation, you are still on the verge of saying yes, is because you are a massive people pleaser, because you have no boundaries for yourself. You actually have no self-respect, you have no boundaries, you do not understand what is going on here, and you're kind of overextending yourself in a way where, you know what, that's just going to leave you feeling drained and exhausted and really tired, which is not very good thing. You're literally agreeing to put other people's needs on top of yours, which is the worst thing you could possibly do for yourself, especially when you yourself need help. Oh my god, this is the most shocking thing that people pleasers do, is that they themselves need help. Like, their cup is broken at this point. There is no cup, there is no inner like resilience or like inner motivation or inner strength left. But they're still trying to help the other person, they're still trying to be there for the other person, is because they're seeking their validation and approval so bad, which is so bad, which is horrible, which is the worst thing you could do for yourself. So if you're one of those people, you need to understand that setting boundaries and having boundaries for yourself. You often feel this need where you're like, oh, I can't disappoint people. I have to show up. And this is not about professional situations. This can also be in your personal life where you're like, I have to show up. I'm just not going to do that because I need their external validation. And without that, I do not feel accomplished and I don't feel the sense of joy or inner peace because I'm so attached to that external validation that I'm going to receive from that person. And if I don't receive that, my sense of self worth is going to hamper. So, you know what? That's not the best thing for me. You feel so anxious about upsetting other people that you go out of your way to prove yourself to them. Because, again, external validation. Because you can't stand other people being mad at you, because you can't stand disagreement, confrontation. You just can't stand all of that. It's because you lack boundaries. You absolutely lack boundaries, and you're like, screw that. I just need that external validation. I need that person to like me. I need that person to be in my life no matter what. So I will do whatever it takes. Also, our society also plays a bit of a role here, is where they confuse kindness with self-sacrifice. Like, for example, if somebody was to come to you and ask for help, and if you don't help them because you're feeling tired yourself, like you're drained, you have no energy to help that other person, but society will make you feel like, oh, you're being a selfish person when you're not helping the other person. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's why I don't get it when people use such situations to coin the term that, oh, you're selfish. And you know what? You put your needs above others because you need to, because you will literally pass out if you do not get that sleep, if you do not recover your energy, if you actually do not fill your cup. And first of all, you need to put your needs first. because nobody else is going to do that for you. So I don't get the concept when people are like, oh, you have to be kind. Being kind is great, but not at the expense of you having to sacrifice things that really matter to you. Now, how are people pleasers going to set boundaries so that they make sure that they are at their optimum health, mentally, physically, and spiritually, so that, you know what, when they do extend help to other people, they're not draining themselves? First of all, this is going to sound like a foreign concept to y'all, because it was a foreign concept to me when I was trying to set boundaries with other people, where I was like, oh my God, really? Now I have to rely on my self validation and not their external validation. I do not need to please them. I do not need to put their needs first or before mine. I do not have to make sure that, you know what, they're at a good place in their life. I do not have to make sure that the mood is okay. I do not have to make sure of all of those things, because now I'm not that codependent on them, because now I do not need anything from them. All of this is going to be very, very, very extremely foreign, and this is going to be very brand new when you're first setting boundaries. But you need to understand that this is going to be the best thing that you do for yourself. I'm not asking you to cut anyone. I'm not asking you to cut anyone out or do any of that, but just setting boundaries. So, first of all, you start by saying no. Okay. And if they were to react violently to your boundaries, where they're like, how can you say no? I really need help. How can you do this? I really need this. They are those people who are benefiting from you not having any boundaries in the first place, so they need to go. You literally hit two birds with one stone at this point. So, you know what? You're setting boundaries, you're removing the toxic people from your life, because the right people, when you set a boundary, they still are in your life, because a boundary is not an attempt to cut people out of your life. It's an attempt to continue the relationship with that person. When we talk about setting boundaries does not have to be really that extreme or excessive or that dramatic. It could be very simple things. For example, if somebody texts you, you do not have to reply immediately. You do not have to, because you're busy, you're doing something, you're occupied. You do not have to. There is no obligation as to you have to reply or respond to that message immediately, unless there's an emergency, of course, which is a different story. But if it's not an emergency, if it's just for fun, or if, it's something that can wait, it's completely fine. Take your time. It's simple things like this that actually adds up to the value of setting boundaries. And you know what? You're just gonna feel like you're a lot more in control of your time. You're a lot more control of your day, and you're in a lot more control of your mood, your emotions. You know what? Because if you do not set boundaries, after a point, you will start resenting people, and this is all your fault, because you had no boundaries in the first place. So now you're resenting people for who they are and what they're doing to you, because you do not speak up, you do not say anything to them. And so there you go. It's a lose-lose situation if you do not set boundaries. But once you do start setting boundaries, you're going to see the difference is that your relationships improve, you improve, your energy levels are better, your mental and emotional state is better. We all need time, we all need space, we all need boundaries. It's very essential, it's very important. Just by setting a clear tone and by communicating, of course, this is not, nobody is a mind reader here. So if you do not communicate, nobody's going to understand. But once you do, it's going to be all fine. Now, what are some downsides of people pleasing, which is very essential and very important to know, because then you understand as to why it's so important that you stop people pleasing in the first place. What the downside majorly is, it affects your self-esteem and self-confidence, which is so, so, so bad. And I'll tell you how you do that is because you're attaching your self-worth not on self validation but on external validation. So when you do that, your mood literally depends on the other person. It completely, your happiness, your sense of self, your sense of purpose, everything depends on the other person, because you've made them the center of your universe. Because if you don't get external validation, you don't feel good about yourself. If you don't, like, for example, if you're doing a new makeup and you ask somebody, comment on it, please. Can you be like, is this good? Can you rate my makeup or something like that? If you're detached from that, or it doesn't really affect you, it's a different story. But because you're a people pleaser, you're attached to their approval. So if they say no, you're like, oh, this is not good for me. So this was just like a small example, but this can apply to various areas of your life. This can actually extend to your relationships, your career. It could apply in various areas of your life. If somebody tells you, you know what, you really want to be an influencer. Somebody tells you, no, you shouldn't do that because you're not a good influencer, and you give up. Why? Why do you give up? Because you don't have that kind of self-belief, you don't have that kind of self-confidence, you don't have that kind of self-worth to actually carry this forward. And to be able to live out your dreams, you need all of that. To be able to live out your goals, you need all of that. You know what? You can't depend on other people for external validation. And just be like, you know what? Oh, if this person approves, then it's okay. No, absolutely not. Who are they? Who are they? You made them God. You made them the main character. You made them the center of the universe. It's literally nobody else's fault. It's your fault. So take it back. Take it all back, because that is literally none of your business. That is absolutely none of your business. What that other person thinks about you, what they feel about you, how they're reacting to certain situations, how they react to things you say. None of your business. Mind your own business. I think I've said this so many times. Mind your own business. Your emotions, your mental state, your emotional state, your spiritual state. If you want to go, you go. Don't want to go, don't go. Say no. I need some time to myself. If they respect that, great. They're good people. But if they don't, cut them out of your life. Simple. Keep it as simple as possible. People pleasing also makes you very inauthentic because you're not your true self, because that's created a gap between your true self and the person that you're trying to portray that you are. So people pleasing actually does not even work in the long term, is because your true self is going to shine through, or it's going to dissociate completely, and you're going to transform into this absurd version of yourself that you never even intended to be. That's not your highest version, but you just did that because you were looking for external validation. You were looking for people to validate you, to validate your feelings, to validate everything you do. So that's what happened instead. This also comes from a core wound where you kind of fear rejection. Now, it's fine. You know what? People rejecting something, it's their opinion of that situation, it's their opinion of you, it's not your reality, which is completely fine. And not everybody can see and like you for who you are, which is completely fine again. Now, imagine there are 7 billion people in the world. Hell, you don't like everybody. Like, if you're telling me everybody needs to like me, you don't like everybody. Have you sat down with yourself, ask yourself questions where you're like, do I even like this person? The answer is going to be like, no, I don't, but I'm looking for the validation. So I'm going to keep talking to them, or I'm going to keep approaching them because whatever, X, Y, and Z. I need that right now, because without that, I don't feel complete. I don't feel good. I don't, feel like myself. Of course, you don't feel like yourself because you actually created a fake version of yourself to fit into a mold of that person and their expectations and their perspective. That is not you. That is just not you. And how are you going to deal with discomfort that comes when you first set boundaries with people, when you first actually speak your mind truly and express your original, authentic self? It's completely normal. All of this is completely normal. And first of all, that is none of your business. What happens to them is none of your business. Again, yes, I said what I said and I stand by it. How they feel about it, what they think about it is none of your business. You need to take care of yourself. You need to protect yourself. You need to put your needs and wants first. That's exactly what you're doing, which is great. Okay, so that's exactly what you need to focus on. And you also need to understand this is a part of the process. This is completely normal. This is going to happen because people have different opinions. People are extremely different. No two people are alike. Like, literally no two people are alike. Something about them is going to tick the other person off, which is completely fine. Everybody has their own sets of morals and values and how they function, how they like to function in life. So it's completely fine. Don't get mad thinking about the fact that, you know what, oh, this person's upset with me because I said that, or this person doesn't like me anymore because I said that, or whatever. It's fine. If a relationship ends because of you setting boundaries, it's even better. Good riddance, because bye bye. I don't need that shit in my life. You know what I mean? I don't have space for that because I'm actually growing and evolving and becoming the version that I really want to become. So if that's the situation, that's where we are at, so be it. Now, for you to be able to set boundaries and to stop people pleasing entirely, you need to understand and you need to address core wounds that you have. You need to actually unaddress those situations where you were kind of people pleasing because you wanted to avoid conflict, you wanted to avoid confrontation, you wanted to avoid the discomfort of being in that particular situation, or just something that comes with it. You just wanted to avoid the triggers or whatever it is. It's basically because you were trying to run away from those things, and that's something that you need to face up front. It's a part of life. Discomfort, disappointment, it's a part of life. It's going to happen. As long as you can keep it in control, it's fine, because you don't have to let that navigate the rest of your day or the rest of your life. So as long as you understand that this is going to happen, and you know what, it's all right. You're going to have conflicts with everybody. Don't you fight with your parents or your siblings or your friends? It's going to happen because difference of opinion. It does not matter. So why does it matter when other people say something like that? Like, it shouldn't matter. Their opinion is their opinion, and they're entitled to their opinion on top of that. So people are entitled to their own opinions. You can't do anything about it. That's their life, that's their headspace, that's their mindset, and that's what they're like. So you need to understand self validation is the basis that you're going to start with. You need to learn to validate yourself. You need to learn to validate your decisions. And how you're going to start doing that, I have a whole bunch of videos, but I'll tell you in brief a little bit. You're going to start small. You know that decision that you kind of have a conflict with. Now, for example, if you're going out, you kind of wear a dress and you send a picture to your friend just to ask for their opinion or to validate you. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Just wear what you want to wear and just go out. Stop looking. Yeah, stop with these small things. Start with these small things, because that's just going to make you a lot more fierce and a lot more independent, a lot more in charge of your own life. It's going to make you feel a lot more confident. It's going to build a lot more self-worth and self-value. Like, you know what, you are going to believe yourself. You're going to actually truly stand by yourself, and your decisions is because you believe in them. You need to understand that faith starts from you and starts within you. You need to believe in yourself. You need to be able to cultivate. You need to have that kind of relationship with yourself where you're like, I trust myself. I'm at peace with myself. And you know what? Even if that's not the best thing, it's fine. Even if I made a mistake, that's fine. I will learn from it. That all comes when you turn inwards and stop looking outwards for anything of value, because there is literally no value anybody else can give you as much as you going inwards and working on the things that you're afraid of will give you. Again, here you have to address your fears head on, whether that be fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of gossip. Some people are afraid of what other people might have to say about them. None of your business. What are you going to do? That's their opinion of you. It's not your truth. You know what? Let them talk about you. Let them do what they have to do. People gotta talk. People gotta gossip. People gotta do whatever it is. They gotta, reject you because you're too expensive or whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Let people do themselves. It's completely fine. They're showing you who they are. Now you know who they are. So instead of trying to seek their validation and approval, move on with your life. How about that? Last but not the least, you are going to start living authentically and just being true to yourself. You're going to give yourself a self respect. Other people talk about self respect in a very different sense, but this is what real self respect is to me, is that you're not being fake. Okay, you're not being a con person. No, you're not trying to have a clickbait effect on people. You are authentically and truly who you are, and as you are, and you show up like that in the world. So, with the flaws and all, yes, I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm just saying you have to be authentic and just be real, so that the sooner you do that, the sooner you're going to meet the kind of people that you actually were meant to be in your life with. Somebody who's, open and honest is going to meet somebody who is open and honest. For example, if you're a friendly person, if you have a bubbly personality, if you like going out, that's exactly what you're going to attract into your life. So the law of attraction is very, very, very much in play. So you make sure that you're doing that for yourself, because that's what's going to allow you to grow, and not people pleasing. People pleasing is actually you causing a lot of self harm and self sabotage. Is because you're converting into a different person altogether who does not benefit your life in any way. Like, you're just not going to go anywhere with that person. But if you have an idea of who you want to be, if you know what your highest self looks like, speaks like, sounds like, what they dress like, if you have an idea of what your highest self is overall like, you're in bliss. So now this allows you to actually have and cultivate a sense of self-worth and self-esteem that is truly yours, and it's based on what you like, and it's based on who you are as a person. So now you will never go out seeking external validation, because you know it doesn't exist, and it's really just a bad thing to do for yourself. All you're going to do is you're going to self-validate all of your decisions, all of your chaos, all of the peace. You're going to self-validate everything within yourself, and you're going to become a lot more confident and strong individual. Having said that, we come to the end of this brilliant video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Till then, I'm going to see you guys in my next one. Take care and bye. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Daddy fuck with me 'cause you know